It could be a game changer for you. I highly recommend trying this out for whatever brand you're representing. It could, be that difference between a channel that unlocks brand new growth, could double your company or whatever it may be, versus just doing the same old thing. Hello, my name is Moe Abbas. I am the CEO of Acadium. At Acadium, you can get hands-on work experience with a vetted mentor, a business owner in digital marketing. I'm going to go through how you could market your business using influencers and creators on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, you can practice anything you learn here on Acadium working with a business directly to use their brand to partner with different creators. So if you like what you hear here, sign up to Acadium and you can get that hands-on work experience that we are talking about here. So let's jump right into it. Creators and influencers. This is a fantastic way to grow a brand. You can grow very quickly through an influencer campaign. Sometimes they're called influencers. Sometimes they're called creators. It depends which platform you're talking about. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to call them creators in this video. And we'll start with TikTok, right? TikTok is super popular. It's the fastest growing social media app in the world right now. They just crossed 1 billion users. How could you leverage the creators in TikTok to grow your brand? And what kind of engagement can you expect from TikTok? So TikTok is super easy. They actually have a creator marketplace where you could sign up for your brand and you can create a campaign and you can reach out to different creators, and they make it really easy to find these creators. And you can invite them to apply to your campaign. If they like your campaign, they're going to apply, and then you work out a deal with them to market your business. Once you work out a deal, you figure out, okay, I'm going to give you like $500 to create this video, or I'll pay you a certain percentage of the revenues you generate, whatever the deal is. They then post their video to their audience. They can tag you if you have a TikTok account. You don't need a TikTok account for this. And then boom, your promotion is live. It's pretty easy to do. It's straightforward. The hardest part is figuring out which are the right creators to partner with, and then setting up the deal with them, because they're going to be all over the place. There's no standard rate. I've dealt with creators on TikTok that were $5,000 and comparable creators that were $500 to 10 times difference in pricing. There's no standardization here. So you have to be a good negotiator. You have to be able to get deals over the line, or else you're just going back and forth forever and nothing happens. And you need to have an idea of what kind of content you're looking for, because although they will create the content, they're going to want to own the content. You can give them feedback, and you should give them feedback on direction, or else they could be creating something that's totally off brand, off topic for you, unrelated to what you're selling, and you won't get any results this way. Another thing to consider is one video doesn't make a difference. You need to set up a campaign. You need to have a lot of influencers talking about you. And ideally, they're influencers that have a similar audience, where the audience will hear it from more than one person they're following. And this can create a lot of authority and trust. And that's what you're really leveraging. You're leveraging the authority that these creators have with their audience. And they are essentially saying, hey, trust me, I'm the authority here. I've vetted this brand. You should use this brand. Although it is a sponsored thing, it's an ad. That's essentially what's happening. They're leveraging authority and reach to promote your brand. It is generally cheaper than advertising, but unlike advertising, it's hit and miss. Like when you're running an ad campaign on any one of these platforms, you can kind of manage your growth, your spend a little bit easier than with an influencer campaign or creator campaign, because a video could go viral, the next one could flop, right? Like it's not consistent at all. And there's a really big drawback to TikTok. And this is the videos are ephemeral. They don't really live very long on TikTok. On TikTok, somebody might watch a video and they go on to the next, right? It's not something that's going to stick around for a while. So if you have a video that does well, it'll do well for like 3-4 days, and then your results will start plummeting after that. This is not the case in other platforms like YouTube, which are more evergreen content. So TikTok has a lot of benefits. It's cheap. You can get to creators super fast. It's simple. Um, Everybody's on TikTok. You can get reach right away on TikTok, and it's a pretty massive reach as well. So TikTok does have a lot of benefits. Now, there's other platforms that may work better for you, and it depends what you're selling, right? If you're selling something that requires a bit more thinking, a bit more communication, maybe isn't as visually heavy, like you're not selling like a handbag or something that can be easily shown and like, oh, look at me, I'm wearing this thing, it's beautiful, I love it, but more of a concept that has to be explained in a longer form content. YouTube does much better for that. Okay. So let's talk about YouTube here. YouTube is better for longer form content. It is better for evergreen content as well. Now, although you could do better with YouTube in some cases, it's more challenging to find creators. TikTok made it really easy to find creators. This is not the case with YouTube. You have to reach out to different brands and try to engage with them and then set up a relationship with them. It's not as easy as TikTok. And in YouTube, they're less likely to create multiple videos for you because they don't create videos as often as TikTok. TikTok, they're like pumping videos out, every day almost. In YouTube, it's more like once a week, 2 weeks, even once a month. It's a slower cadence, right? So you're not going to get as many video output as you would with something like TikTok, but the videos are generally much higher quality. You get much more attention from the audience, and everybody who is subscribed to that YouTube creator will get notified. They don't get notified in TikTok. TikTok does not promote videos based on your audience. They promote it based on how engaging the video is. YouTube is not like this. If you subscribe to a YouTube channel, you will get notified when there's a new video posted. So YouTube, you can get a lot better attention from the audience of that creator. And if somebody has 10,000 YouTube subscribers or 10,000 TikTok followers, these subscribers are way more valuable than those TikTok followers. So don't weigh them the same. They are not the same. YouTube will give you much more engagement. Now, with YouTube, the biggest benefit is the content is more evergreen, in that you've probably watched YouTube videos from 2 years ago and they were still relevant. They were still good quality. You've never watched a TikTok video from 2 years ago. It just wouldn't be something you do. Something goes viral on TikTok and then it dies. So you do get a lot better residual value from YouTube than you would in TikTok. So I definitely recommend, depending on what you're selling, go to TikTok, go to YouTube, try both. TikTok's obviously easier to get off the ground than YouTube, but YouTube could potentially yield you more longer term results. It just takes a little more effort to get that going. Now you have Instagram. Instagram is decent, but I don't think it's very great for creators unless you're selling like literally like fashion or something that's super popular on Instagram. And even then it's not that great. Why? It's similar to TikTok. The posts, they last, but then people scroll right by them, right? It's like, I see this beautiful post, but I'm going to scroll right by it. And I'm not going to give it my full attention. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then I move on to the next thing. Sometimes it works. It doesn't always work. It's a lot of noise in Instagram. I don't think Instagram is that effective for creators from what I found. Definitely would rank much lower than YouTube and TikTok. But you can still try it out and see if it works for your business. Similar with Facebook. You can try out Facebook creators. Oftentimes you'll get creators that will post on multiple platforms for you. Well, they'll do it on their TikTok, they'll do it on their Instagram, and then if they have a YouTube, they'll do it on their YouTube as well. But usually they're more dominant in one channel. So my recommendation for using creators is to really understand your brand, where they buy, where it's best to promote. It's way easier to reach people on TikTok. Instagram is actually really challenging as well and overpriced. People overvalue their Instagram audience. They think it's way more valuable than it actually is. But for some brands, it could work really, really well, especially if you're dealing with really high-end influencers, rather than micro-influencers. Micro-influencers or creators, they work well in local cities. If you're promoting a local brand, find a local creator who's popular, that people follow locally, and make a deal with them. And you can go across all platforms with them. So it really depends on where you're marketing, where your ICP is, which creator represents your brand, which platform is the best to represent your brand. It could be very profitable to do this, but you got to be careful as well. Like if you're spending a lot of your time trying to manage these creators and they're not getting you results, that could be problematic. You have to include your time and effort in the economics of the channel, right? So like if you launch one creator and you spend a week on that, well, that's like whatever your weekly wage is plus what you pay the creator. It may not be profitable at that point. You may be better off spending money on ads than using creators. So you got to take that into account. But if you do find some amazing creators and a good platform, you could build a relationship with them and you could feed off that relationship for a very long time. So my recommendation is to find the right platform, find the right creators, build a relationship with them that's recurring, and then work that way, whether it's on an affiliate deal or on a pay-per-post deal. Check to see if it's profitable. If they're generating you more than what they're making, they should be at least a 3-to-1, closer to a 5-to-1. So if you give them $1, they should generate you $3, ideally $5. And then you're going to have to take some shots. So it'll take you a little while to ramp this up. It shouldn't take that long. It'll take a little while. Like TikTok, you can get somebody live in a week or two. In YouTube, it will take a little bit longer. And in Instagram, it might take a little bit longer. It just takes longer to search them, find them. You got to make a deal with them. And you got to figure out what kind of video to create. But if you're building a brand, this is very valuable for brand representation, trust, authority, especially if you can get to the really big influencers, if you have that kind of brand. And if you're a local brand, you want to go more to the micro creators and influencers. It could be a game changer for you. I highly recommend trying this out for whatever brand you're representing. It could, be that difference between a channel that unlocks brand new growth, could double your company or whatever it may be, versus just doing the same old thing. My name is Moe Abbas, CEO of Acadium. If you want to get hands-on work experience with creators, with influencers, with any kind of marketing really, you can come to Acadium. You can apply all this knowledge you've learned directly with a business that will work with you in an apprenticeship and will give you feedback and guidance on the work you do in apprenticeships, kind of like an internship, but you work with a vetted business. So sign up to Acadium if you want to get this experience. Other than that, good luck with your creator and influencer strategy, and I'd love to hear how it works. You can actually add me on Twitter or Instagram at Real Moe Abbas. I'd love to hear how your creator campaigns went.